Okay, hey everybody, thanks for joining us. This is Andy, Alpha Alpha Zero Alpha Mike, and Tyler, KF0PTL, and we have a very special guest tonight. Now, he's the ARRL South Carolina Section Manager, 2022 Vic, what was the guy?
Vic Clark.
Vic Clark,
Mhm.
Roanoke Division Service Award winner, Ycars Trustee, correct?
Mhm.
And Knight of the Round Table for Lord Callum McCormick of DX Commander. My personal Elmer, flu survivor, Mr. John Gendron. Hey, thanks for joining me and Tyler tonight.
Andy, Tyler, great to see you guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate the warm welcome. I don't sure it's deserved, but glad to be here with you guys. So,
Oh no, it's all
my pleasure
deserved.
directly.
You've anytime I've had a question or anything, you've gotten right back to me or say, "Hey man, I'll get right back to you when I can," and it's just been appreciated on my end. And
Hey, that's what it's all about
Elmer,
with ham radio, right?
that's right.
You all help each other out.
And now this kid over here, he can call you Uncle John. I don't know if you don't mind that.
As long as you don't call me late for dinner, I about answered anything.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
how's things been for you, John?
it's been a little wild here this year. 2024 opened up a little crazy, and it stayed that way. So, February we were down in Orlando, Darcy and I, and a couple of the other guys from the club, and having a good time down there. Got back on Sunday. Following Monday, my mother-in-law had uh, surgery to replace a valve, and didn't go so well. So she had a couple of strokes, and um, got her through that, and she came to live with us for a bit while she's recuperating. And they called us one day and said, "Hey, she got to have a pacemaker put in." So we rushed her to the hospital, have a pacemaker put in, and so she's with us. She's doing really well. So, um, between that and trying to get the HOA law pushed through in South Carolina, which didn't go as planned, it's just been a weird year. That's all I can say.
Just a weird
But
one.
everything's
Yeah.
good. You know what? I can't complain. I'm healthy. I got a lovely wife that loves me and takes care of me. I got a good job, and you know what? I'm blessed. So
I hear
I
you
won't
there,
complain.
brother. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. And yeah, thoughts, prayers with your mother-in-law there. It sounds like,
Thank you.
especially after a couple surgeries like that. But
Yeah, she's
yeah,
90, so it's you know, you never know anytime you do that kind of stuff at that age.
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the next step in your process for the HOA deal?
Well, um, I think we're done for this session. We got a hearing. What was it? The last couple days of March, maybe the 26th, 28th, something like that. And I, you know, you plan, you think it through, you think you got a plan, and then somebody hits you in the mouth. And we had a plan. There were six of us going to speak on behalf of amateur radio, and I was really familiar with five of the speakers. One of the speakers I was not familiar with, but a good guy, I know him, and we let him go first. And had I thought about it, I probably would have went first, but I was going to close the deal, and they hit him, just hammered him with questions, and it was he wasn't real fast on his feet to respond, and so it was a bloodbath, to coin a term. So I, as soon as they finished with him, after 15, 20 minutes of questioning, I stepped up and said, "Hey guys, I'm going to go out of order here and see if I can clean some of this up." Not that he made that much of a mess. It was just, it was all over the place. So I stepped in, and amazingly enough, I had the answers that we needed for the questions, and I had a little more time than he did to think on his feet, because I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, I can think through that question. I can think through that question. And I start swatting them back at him, and ask them that didn't value us, and all we had done for the state, and all those kind of things. And all of a sudden we got a motion to adjourn. So basically they knew I had the answers they didn't want to hear, so they adjourned it, and they asked us to clarify some things. So I wrote an amendment to the bill in that evening and sent it off to the lawmaker, and she got it to the attorney, but we didn't get our hearing before this weekend. So this time, April 8th is kind of the cutoff where they bring the Senate bills over that have passed through the Senate to the House, and the House pushes all their bills to the Senate so they can get them done by the end of May. And we're not in either one of those batches. So I think we're gonna have to do it next session, but lesson learned. We know what to do now, so we'll go ahead and be ready for them next time.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. Lesson learned, and
yeah,
better from it. And,
you can come at me with one attack, and I may not hear you that one, but the next one, yeah, we'll have something for them next time.
Can I ask what I don't know. Can I ask what the HOA is?
Yeah, so homeowners associations in the state of South Carolina and most states across the country can put in rules and restrictions of what you can and can't do within the communities. And so one of the things that they've done is they've told amateur radio operators no antennas, no visible antennas, or they make, accommodation for an antenna that's this tall, right? And, there was a ruling, and I think it was either 86 or 96, I think it was 86, called OTARD, over-the-air receiving devices. And basically antennas for satellite dishes, antennas for over-the-air TV, radio, data reception, like point-to-point Ethernet kind of stuff, were allowed. But they specifically left out amateur radio, and it's in the bill, no amateur radio. And I think part of that was because the antennas are so big. And part of the issue is, back then in the 80s, some stuff didn't have the FCC hardening that we do now with electronics, where you really can't cause interference between stuff. I mean, you can, but you have to be either wanting to do stuff or it's cheap crap from China that doesn't have the protection required by the FCC. So I think that's part of it. And then there was, what's the name of the bill? PRB1. Which is a FCC ruling that counties and municipal governments have to make accommodations for amateur radio operators. But they didn't bring it down to the HOA level. So we asked is to prohibit HOAs from making rules from prohibiting antennas. And we went broadest case so that we can get as much as we could. It was kind of a negotiation tactic that we went very, very broad to try and bring it back to what we really wanted, which was, wire antennas, verticals, flagpoles, those kind of things that we use. Most amateur radio operators. I mean, we knew we weren't going to get 200-foot towers and aluminum strung in the air. I mean, we knew that wasn't going to happen, but we figured if we asked for everything, we can condense it down. So basically, my amendment outlined 6 different antennas and said, these are the 6 we want. And that covers 95% of what we do. So
that would help a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
How does South Carolina differ from what's been going on with the, who were the two? Let's see,
the federal bills?
Yeah, the federal part, yeah.
Well, taking my ARL hat off, putting it over here.
Okay.
Quite frankly, I don't have any confidence in those bills getting past the U.S. Congress. They're good bills. They'll basically do what we're asking for in South Carolina. But, I mean, you got to realize that we're 0.02% of the population, right? We think a lot of ourselves, and we do provide a valuable service. But in the grand scheme of things, in today's environment, well, that would be the one bill they probably could pass without too many issues. But then again, the HOA lobbyists have tons of money because those SOBs don't want to give up any power. They're just, yeah. I don't.
Well,
I'm not going to cuss on your program. How's that?
That's okay. There's 21 other people, man. That's it.
Okay.
It's back on now. Okay.
I put the HOA hat, the ARL hat back on, so I can't speak that freely now anymore.
Okay, all right, we got you. No more hard-hitting questions. So
No,
Tyler,
that's fine.
the
Ask whatever you want.
HOA, okay. So the HOAs, we don't have really HOAs in our small area. It's
Yeah,
just done by the police,
yeah,
so you remember when we had the old car in the yard and they came over and said, "Well, that's gotta be registered." Well, I do have the registration, I just didn't put it on it or whatever. But it comes, they couldn't say not, they didn't say nothing about the antennas, and I had some massive antennas up while we were in town.
yeah,
And the neighbors never said nothing either, but
You're lucky.
what,
yeah,
Tyler?
You're lucky you're out of town now. You can put up whatever you want.
yeah.
Oh,
See, I'm
I'm
right on
very
the edge
lucky,
of the
yeah.
city here. I'm actually in the county, and I live in a NOA, Neighborhood Owners Association, which is odd, but it doesn't really have much teeth, right? And it's a very small community. There's maybe 80 homes in the community. It's probably closer to 75, but between 75 and 80 homes. And, you know, I could put up a tower. There's no restriction for me to doing it, except that Brenda said no tower. So, um,
Yet.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, well, that new property, different animal.
Oh,
New
okay.
property, different animal. So
Yeah.
that's a whole different can of worms there. But no, it's I know a lot of our club members live in HOAs, and they've taken to putting antennas in the attic. They've taken to loading up gutters, hiding stuff, portable stuff. I mean, you find a way around it if you really want to find a way around it. But it is a barrier for people to practice amateur radio, and it's a barrier for people coming into the hobby. And that's what we tried to explain to them. I said, look, guys, there's 7,000 HOAs in South Carolina. That's 500,000 homes. 26% of the state lives in HOAs, a population. I said, and it's growing. 70% of new homes are built in HOAs in South Carolina. And I said, if you want to buy a home that's 20 years, constructed in the last 20 years, you have a 90% chance you're going to buy something in an HOA. I said, so you are severely hamstringing our ability to bring people in that are practiced communicators when you need us for emergency communications. I said, you're going to get to the point where the system is not going to be able to do it when you need it. And then you're going to be going, we're the ham operators. Well, you let the HOAs run us out. So, yep.
Well, good luck. Good luck.
Yeah,
with
we'll
that,
keep plugging away at it, man. Hopefully I'll get it done before I move to North Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Hams find a way, right?
That's it. We do.
Yeah, it's so interesting stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's just in politics. It just sucks, man. It's my first real experience of politics, and now I saw the sausage made. I really don't want to do it again, but I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm sure it's just rough, especially in today's climate. And I don't,
Yeah.
It's just rough. I want to be out here in the middle of nowhere and put up my antennas. And I feel for the people who are hamstrung by that. Like I said.
And people, they don't have a choice sometimes. They have to buy where they have to buy. You got to live near where you work,
It's true, yeah.
Yep. So you got to buy what you can afford too.
Yeah.
And the younger generation too coming up, I don't know. Will they ever have a chance? Will he ever have a chance to buy a house? I don't know.
He's a smart dude. Takes after you. He'll be okay.
Too
Yeah,
nice.
I'll find a
man.
way.
Yeah.
I'll find a way.
Yeah.
Find a way.
Even if you have to squat in the house to take it over, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep. There's got to be. Yep. It's mine now.
Yeah, it's mine now. Shouldn't have left for a week.
It comes along with the house, and I'm just going to lead into something else here. But sometimes your toilet leaks, right? You got to fix it yourself. So.
Yep.
But
or the plumbers will come and take your checkbook.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you learn to do it yourself.
I hate being a plumber.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I tried to do so much myself. If it gets to a point where I need to call somebody,
plumbing's the one thing I really don't mess with. I hate it with a passion. Electrical, carpentry, drywalling, all that kind of stuff. I don't mind. I detest plumbing.
Okay, you're going to ask how this goes together, and it's going to be
Yeah.
kind of a. I'm going to tie a little bit of a long.
I don't know where
tail
you're
on this,
going, but
okay?
I'll
But
follow.
do you remember my? Let's see, I have a AL811 amplifier. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had to send that back to Ameritron for some warranty work that needed to be done on it. There's a few things. Once I opened it up on the inside,
3
I'm like,
months.
oh,
3 months later.
come on, dude. It wasn't 3 months. I was surprised. It was a month um, before I got a reply from anybody. It's like, okay, this was delivered on March 11th. What's going on? I waited 2 weeks. I
Hmm.
wasn't annoying or anything like that. I wasn't trying to be an idiot, like, where's my stuff? But anyway, no response, no nothing, not a text message, smoke signal, not nothing, and whatever. So yet, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. The toilet was leaking, right? And I have had a problem with this toilet since we moved into the house. It's like the bane of my existence. I'm sitting there trying to, you know, the next step was taking a sledgehammer and just let's get a new
Question:
toilet and refix it. Yeah, what's up?
is the toilet in the middle of the house?
It honestly is right directly in the middle of
Bad
the
feng
house.
shui. You
No,
never put water in the middle of a house. I have it in my house, and I have nothing but problems with
it's
that bathroom in the middle of the house.
feng shui. I never thought of that.
Yeah, my
Maybe it's got
sister's
to
an
do with the
architect. She
toilet.
told me that. She says, she walked in the house. She says, "Oh, you got a bathroom in the middle of your house. You got bad feng shui." I'm like, what?
That's
What?
She, yeah,
Now it's in your head now. And now it's in my head.
yeah, it's in your head. Thank you for the planting that seed, right?
Thanks. Yeah.
So go ahead, finish your story. I'm sorry, I had to
It's
interrupt.
no big deal. That's good though. So anyway, it was just a little part that I needed. It's just a couple parts. So I go down to the hardware store and I'm sitting there in the part aisle and I walk past the guy and I'm sitting there looking for the stuff and he asked me, where's the PEX tubing and the shark bite fittings? And I go, oh, those are around the corner. All right. So I talked to him once. So I'm like, oh, well, I need something over there too. So I go over there and he looks at me. Yeah, he goes, is your name Andy? Yeah, yeah, it is. He goes, "Yeah, I think I bought your house. "Oh, so you're the guy that bought my house. Okay, cool. Hey, nice to meet you." And he goes, I got a package delivered, and it's huge and it's heavy, and it's been sitting there for like 5 days. I don't know what to do with it. It was UPS that delivered it, and I don't know what to do with it. So you just want to stop over and come get it? Okay, yeah, no problem. So I go over there. I'm like, this can't be the amp. There's no way this is the amp. This is something Ellen ordered. Because I know when I sent that amp back in, I wrote down my new address. I wanted to make sure that that came back to me, right? I know I did. I wrote it multiple times in there. Sure enough, I go over there and there's a box sitting on their porch, a Meritron. I'm like, okay, the amp's back. I should just let everything go. I'm not mad about nothing, whatever. I got my amp back. So it's back. It's sitting over here on the bench. I got to open it up yet, and see if the things were done that were supposed to be done. But if I wouldn't have needed to go to the hardware store, and I still haven't gotten an email from Ameritron or MFJ, but the amp's back. So,
that's
Mississippi's finest.
that's
oh, I tell
crazy.
you, yeah.
That
So
is
I
nuts.
was
If you
thankful for
hadn't
the
happened
leaky
upon the
toilet.
guy, so that the problem in the toilet, the bad feng shui led to the bad problem in the toilet, which led you to the Home Depot, which led you to meet the guy that bought your house, which brought your amp back to you.
There it is. That was
Talk
my
about a
yesterday.
butterfly effect, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another part where I don't want to know where the butterfly lands because when I got done with all that, I go outside, my truck's got a nail in the tire.
Oh, that's yeah.
All this was yesterday. So there's got to be something good yet next. So we had
Yeah.
a bad thing, good thing, bad thing, good thing.
Yeah.
That's what we're headed for. Well, the good thing is tonight, you joining us tonight. So yeah, thanks a lot.
You may not say that after we're done.
Yeah.
You may go, I'm not going to ever talk to that SOB again. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and text John and say, "Oh, this number's been disconnected."
Yeah, no. No, 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 no.
God.
So how's the phased box coming?
It's coming okay. I'm almost done with Gen 2 boards. Here's the Gen 1 board. And we're Hey, I even put up the right way. Look at that. So this is Gen 1. We're going to make some significant improvements to this. I'm going to take these connectors off, and we're going to do some direct soldering to the board for the coax coming in. And I think it'll work better that way. I mean, it works. There's I'm not exactly happy with the pattern, and I know why, because I'm an idiot. But when I put the box together, when I cut my phasing lines and the delay line, I didn't cut them through the box. And I had a little more coax than I hoped for in the box because I designed the board incorrectly. So the second time I tested it, I recut the lines. And I'm seeing isolation, front to back is about 7S units in some cases. Some cases it's 5 or 6. And I'm getting good gain off the front at, ballpark it, let's call it 3.5 dB, maybe. So I was into Europe the last time I had it up in the front yard, which was early February. And, I was scorching in Europe. It was, you're 20 over, and I'm running a, 75 watts off the front porch portable, so, it's going to be a good kit once it's finished. I've got a few people testing this version, which, right now I know version 2 is going to be much better. So I'm going to order probably 10 of the version 2s and send those out. I'm probably going to send one. Well, Rolly's got one on the way that's a Gen 1. I'll probably send him a Gen 2 as well. Send one over to Colin in Scotland. The boys over at Coffee and Hom Radio, I'll send them a couple. I don't know who else. I'll send one to you if you want one to play around with. And we'll get 10 of them out there, or 8 of them, and see how they do. Because I'm going to use one here for primary testing, and then I'm going to melt one down. I melted one down of these. Sideband, it gave up the ghost at 1200 amps, or 1200 watts. The digital I had to 100 watts. And I'll be honest, I really don't want to test my amplifier on digital more than I have to. So, because I'm trying to baby it, it's got some issues, and I really don't want to send it off. I'm trying to put away some money for a new amp, and I need this one to last me for a little bit. But I did get about 800 through CW, and it was fine. Heat down for 30, 40 seconds, and it was fine. I mean, it heated up, but it wasn't, I didn't see any melting on the traces or anything. But 1200 watts sideband for an hour and a half, and it was, the board didn't quite look the same when I pulled it out of the box. So my SWR went nuts, and I was like, okay, what's going on? That one's down in the garage. Otherwise, I should have brought it up with me. You could see it. But yeah, it doesn't quite look this pristine.
Data. It's got data. That's data.
It's that. Well, I knew I wanted to see what the point was. Somebody wanted me to test it with, 500-600 watts digital, and I'm like, I already know it's not going to do it. I mean, I could tell you it's not going to do it. I know what the traces are. 100 watts. Yeah, it'll handle 100 watts digital. I wouldn't do it for hours on end, but for 20, 30 contacts, sure, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah.
So if you're trying to get one, right? See, Tyler, this is how it all started, because I started getting into DX Commander, and he was the first YouTuber other than the Mud Duck that I watched.
Who?
Mark
Duck?
Sherman, fine tune CB shop. Oh my gosh, all he does is just trash people. That's it. But
sounds like a lovely guy.
I don't know why I was watching, because it was information. He had information.
Yeah, I get you.
He had oscilloscopes, and if you can get through some of the stuff, there's data there that's kind of cool. But
there's guys out there on the channels. Yeah.
And he's just completely polar opposite. And I just gravitated towards Callum, and it was just like, I'm watching this. And then he started talking about phasing. And And I'm like, oh, this has really piqued my interest here. And I started reading and I started watching more. And then I see this other guy in the chat named John, and he's talking about the same stuff. And then one day, I still remember you had, I'm making this thing. Would anybody be interested in buying it? I'm like, oh, yeah, put me down, put me down for one. And I don't remember whether that was a double or if that was the triple that day, but that was
I
a
think it was
long,
the triple.
was it the triple? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the triple. Because I did the triple before I did the doubles.
Yeah,
right?
that's yep,
The triples what pulled me into the whole thing.
yeah.
Right. Callum started talking about it, and I was like, that's interesting. Let me do some research. And of course, I did the thing. Well, I read this, and that's probably good enough. I'm good to go. And no.
Things happen.
So the box works. I mean, it does. I mean, the original design works. I have a much better design for it now, but I haven't built the new design yet. I've been too busy messing around with these, two. And trying to come up with something generic that we can use with a bunch of different stuff. I like the interoperability, right? I mean, anybody can go to DX Engineering. Nothing against them. They're great. They're great folks. Love Tim and the whole team up there. Or Array Solutions and buy a box for 40 meters, spend $500, $600, $700, and have a box that works 100%. It's as efficient as you're going to get it to be, and it's a fantastic piece of kit, right?
Yeah.
But not everybody has $600-$700 for just the box, and then the antennas, right? You got another $200-$400 in antennas for the aluminum setups. My price point for this, I'm hoping to get it to about $75, $80, where somebody can buy this kit for $75-$80 and go with it. I mean, there's relays are the most expensive piece. 20 amp double pole, double throw relays. Buying them in the quantities I'm buying them cost me $7, $8, $9, something like that a piece. I got a whole drawer full of them back here in those cabinets. I had to buy them a tube of them. I think I had to buy 54 of them. So when I bought the original order, it's going to be more costly on the front end than it will on the back end when I can order. And I know I've got a business out of this or a way that I'm going to sell more than, 15 or 20 of these things. I'll be able to order, 100 at a time or 200 at a time, and the cost goes down significantly as you get price breaks. So that's why I'm saying $75, $80 is kind of what I'm looking to get out of it. Cause it's just gonna be a kit, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be the board, basically something like this and connectors. And, I don't even know if I'm going to provide a box. I haven't decided that. Yeah. I may build the controllers and just, have the controllers. The controllers are easy, So I don't know. We'll see. And it may not turn out to be anything.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But, I do have a logo.
Performance arrays. Oh, look at that. Yep.
Yeah.
You need a little squirrel on there, buddy. I'm telling you.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on.
He's
there
got
you
the
go.
squirrel works. Nice.
So if you find me in Dayton,
Oh, I bet we will.
you guys are staying at the same hotel I am, so I think we'll see you guys. But anybody else who's watching, if you find me in Dayton and you'd like a DX Commander squirrel sticker, come find me.
Nice.
I'll probably have some of these stickers too, but this is actually a patch. I had a few patches made up.
That's cool.
Just because I wanted them. I don't know.
Hey, they're cool, man. I mean,
yeah,
that's happening right
but
there.
the stickers came out really well.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you showed me the designs and stuff like that.
Yeah, Callum was like, "Where'd you get that squirrel?" I said, "Drew him." He said, "You did what?"
You drew it. Wow.
Drew it. What'd you use to draw it? Visio. He said, "You drew that in Visio?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "That's okay. I use it for that too." So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Dayton for sure. That'll be
fun. I talked to I don't know if you know Kevin W1DED up in Maine.
Yeah. I've seen. I had a couple contacts with him.
Yeah, he's going to be in Dayton. I texted with him last night, so I'm looking for. I haven't met him face to face. I've done a couple of videos with him, but I've never met him face to face. It'll be fun to meet him. And I got to ask him how he likes his remote station. He and another guy in California bought a remote station in Maine. They got all kinds of hardware. He had, I think, 200-foot towers and crap. So, yeah, I got to see how he likes. I've cursory talked to him about it, but in depth,
Oh,
I want to, you don't do that via text message. So
No.
so I'll do that over a couple beers. We'll talk about that and see how that goes.
There you go.
But
Sure,
I was trying to convince Callum to come over and for Dayton, and he's just not a good traveler, he says. So
Oh, yeah.
I said, man, once you land, I'll pick you up at the airport. I'll drive you around. Yeah. We'll hang out, whatever. And it may be just he doesn't want to hang with me. Who knows? But yeah, other than that, I've been just reading a lot and learning. I've got to admit that I have a problem and I need an intervention because I'm buying antenna books and
Oh, you came to the wrong place, man. I get an antenna book or some kind of book every week, man. At least every week.
so these
Here's what you got there.
4 came in this week.
I think he's got you beat.
He does got me beat. Yeah.
Now,
That transmission line one right there in the back of your hand, that looks pretty cool.
this one,
See, there's that one. And
Yeah.
then there was the blue one, right?
the blue one. Yeah.
That one looks
Now-
expensive.
If I'm not mistaken, I may have double ordered this one
Oh, yeah.
or it's a different edition. So if I have another one of these, Andy, I'll bring it to you. And when we see you in Dayton, it's yours.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool, man. I appreciate that.
Um,
'Cause I
There you
think
go.
I have one in the cart.
This one was a little bit of a mistake to buy.
I got a mistake too.
This is I'm having to relearn math again.
Oh.
This one is Directional Antennas by Carl Smith from Smith Electronics or Engineering, whatever it is, Cleveland. He's an ex-broadcast or was a retired broadcast engineer. Smart dude. And, talk about phasing. I mean, it's, steering the pattern kind of crap.
Oh, that's steering it to
Right.
in a certain.
Yeah.
dB.
So, I mean, it's a whole different animal. But yeah, I found some real gems. I mean, I've got some really good stuff that I found. Some old stuff, I say old stuff, relatively old, from the 50s, for Tyler, anything after 1994 is old, right?
You're like 50.
Just don't think about it. That's 30 years, Andy.
I know it. It's crazy. I'm like, really?
1950.
Where did the time go?
Yeah.
I was reading that book from 1972. I was reading the magazine from 1972.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was. Oh my God, that was that long ago.
52
Where's
years
that?
ago.
52.
Yeah,
years.
52 years ago. I had I don't know where it's at now. I have a CQ magazine that I picked up in Orlando. It's 1969. It's got the moon lander, and it talks all about the radios on the moon lander.
I've heard
it's-
about that.
It's you've heard about the moon landings.
You've heard about the moon
I've heard about the
landing?
moon landings. Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's real.
you better think it's real.
That's controversial.
Your father would take you outside behind the bar.
Oh,
You don't
yeah,
think it's real?
We'll have words there. He knows better than that.
Yeah.
He knows better.
But I wish I was in arm's reach, but I don't know where I put it right now. I'm rearranging the shack, so everything's a little bit of a mess back here.
Yeah.
But the transmission line book that is Jerry Seavick, and you probably have heard that name before. That's the same guy who wrote the papers on the radials that Callum always refers to. It's the same guy.
Rudy Severns?
Oh, is that? No, it's Rudy Severns. Never mind.
Okay.
Different guy. I got a book by Rudy Severns here too, but it's not this
I
one.
was trying to think. Maybe.
Yeah, no, it's not Jerry Seavick. No, I'm sorry. Rudy Severns.
But
Yeah, I've got another book.
Seavick,
See, they're all
I've been
going.
looking for that Seavick book, yeah, for
They're all going into the blender.
into
So
the blender.
yeah.
Yeah, my mistake book was John Krause, Waves and Propagation, and
Have you got that?
I do. I do.
I've got a copy of that. I just got it coming from eBay. Somebody had it up there for like $139 and I offered them 35 and they took it.
Oh
Hey,
yeah, I'm
And it
sure.
shipped.
Jules.
Yeah.
I could
Well,
go get it. I would just give it to you.
no, man, no. Dude, I want you to have that book because I heard it's fantastic.
Well, there's a oh gosh, there's a cartoon strip in there. Gosh dang, I can't remember the old cartoon strip with the bubble gum and army guys. Gosh dang it.
Bazooka Joe?
Yes, there's a Bazooka Joe little comic strip in there where they're talking about an antenna. He's got to hold the antenna. That part I understood.
Yeah.
The rest of it, where the math had a whole bunch of letters and
Yeah.
that was a little difficult, but
Bazooka Joe.
Yeah.
Bazooka Joe.
Nice.
Yeah. Bazooka chewing gum.
Yeah, used to be a brand of
Penny gum always had a cartoon on the inside of the wrapper, and the main character was Bazooka Joe. And it was more of a World War II kind of thing, but I digress.
Yeah,
Tangent,
if I say
tangent alert.
I say MASH nowadays, he probably doesn't even know what MASH is.
See,
Yeah.
I know you for long enough. You've talked about MASH quite a bit.
Okay.
I know generally of it. I've seen a play of it, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah. MASH was a good show.
And the
It was a little hard to understand when you were 6 and 7, but as you got older, you kind of figured it out.
They showed me an episode while I was in college.
Yeah.
For cinema. I was
One of the funniest ones was Frank Burns eats worms.
And that's the thing. You can be 2 minutes into that show, and if you watch it, you know exactly what's going to happen, whatever, and you're still, still going to watch it. I haven't watched one in a while, though, but yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even, and this new generation, at least with my boys, they don't watch too much TV. It's all YouTube and
Twitch and
that's the new generation.
TikTok and
all content all the time, just blasted in our face.
So you're a young guy. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
This is a little off the topic where we had kind of lined up, but so contesting, radio contesting. You know about this, right?
I've heard of it, yes.
Okay. So, most of it is, and I'm going to use some terms that Kevin and Kyle AAOZ used. You go in your black hole for 48 hours and you're in there and you're just heads on and you're going 48 hours, making as many contacts as you can in a frenzy, right? Whether you're running one radio, two radios at the same time, whatever. So Kyle has the idea that we need to, in order to attract a younger crowd to the contesting, we need to gamify it, right? So you bring it to a level, maybe you get 10 people and, have them all stream at the same time, right? And they're trying to make as many contacts as they can in an hour, 2 hours, whatever, right? Because who has the attention span other than us idiots who will go sitting for 48 hours, in Depends and, basically drink our dinner, operating a radio for 48 hours straight, right? I mean, we're the only idiots that do that kind of crap. I mean, you can't hold the attention of the American people watching a football game for 3 hours half the time, right?
Yeah.
Or a hockey game for 2.5 hours. And those are exciting sports.
Yeah.
Right? But if you bring it down to inside that 2 hour and you make it exciting, right? Have commentary running like they do with the EA sports stuff, right? Or the e-gaming stuff. I think Kyle's on to something there. Now, he's meeting resistance and understandably so. I mean, contesting has been around for a while. The rules have been around for, 50, 60 years, right? Maybe a little bit longer. I mean, I'm not a contesting historian, so I can't tell you when the first contest came out. But, we do things like a 4-hour sprint now, and that's a lot of fun if you've never done one of those. But, I love a big pileup. Yeah, and I think most operators do. When you get the opportunity to run a pileup, you do. And it's exciting. I mean, you watch Callum on Friday morning. When he gets pileup going, even my blood gets pumping, right? And he's not working them fast. I mean, he's working them, but he's not working them, 100 an hour, 200 an hour. But if you got guys that are making contacts at 200 an hour, right? Voice contacts, 200 an hour. I mean, 595, you know, you're going at it. And, you know, if you have directional antennas, I mean, there's a way to do this and still keep some of the gaming mentality. You think about what POTA did for portable operations and reviving some amateur radio and bringing some younger people in, right? I think if you gamified, I think it would be kind of cool, don't you, Tyler?
From my point of view, I've seen him do contacts and stuff like that. I don't know if I've seen him contesting or anything like that before, but from my point of view, I always thought, like, how do we make this more? I always heard it, but it was like I would want to see it more visual. As like I sat there and I would record him making contacts and all this stuff, and I would just see him talking, and that's about it. But
so
if
you had a live leaderboard,
that's what I was looking into. If you had like 10 if you had 10 people in the contest, let's say, and then you had people there's ways to do it, but to have just how these people are, how many contacts they have at this time, and then you go farther and then see what contact they made at a certain time and other things like that. But
there's ways to pull tons of data out of this stuff. I mean, if you look at some of the contest software like N1MM, I mean, you can get your rates every 20 minutes. How many contacts every 20 minutes? How many contacts every hour? How many contacts in the last hour, right? You can get all that data. You can pull data down, like, you know, what's your longest contact? You know, and maybe you get style points for that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
You figure out there's an opening to JA and you swing your antenna towards JA and you pick up a bunch before everybody else does, right? And maybe you have, you know, a node red dashboard that shows, you know, your radio, where it's running, your spectroscope, all the information you're ingesting to make the decisions you're making, right?
Yeah. Like,
so
Station Master has
Well, yeah, Station Master's another one. I you know, Andy, I've talked to Stu on the radio a couple times. I like Stu. He's a smart dude. I just haven't had the time to dig into Station Master. I'm a member. I haven't spent time with it to know how to use it. But yeah, you can pull a ton of information out of that too, from what I understand.
I mean, that's all I've been using. And now I got into ham radio late, so I really wasn't married to any one logger. I was just trying to find something. And since I got into Station Master, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, I really enjoy it. It's got the leader bars on the side. Heck, one night Rolly was on there. I made a contact with Rolly. I wouldn't have done that without Station Master. You know, it was. I even I texted you. I just got Rolly.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that coming across. That was cool. Yeah, Rolly's not easy to get, especially when he's running his home station, right? Now he's kind of got the secret weapon with the Squirrel Works antenna. He's a little easier to get now, but he was tough. I talked to him a couple times, but I mean, I maybe have a handful of contacts with him.
We don't need to say that, John. You can just say that he's hard to get. You don't have to say he's easier now. You just don't. You just.
Well, I don't know that he was running Squirrel Works when he was talking to you, Andy.
It's true. Yeah.
You know, he may have been running a single vertical, but you know, he did that parasitic thing, and now he's gotten in. You know, he's in South America right now, so he's on vacation. He'll be back 2 weeks maybe. So he's radio silent. I've texted with him a few times, but I'm trying to leave him alone while he's on vacation. Him and Gail deserve some time alone, man. So.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
he gets hounded with questions all the time. It's bad if I have your phone number.
Yeah. Well, that's where I come in, because then I've got your number. So
that's all right, man. You know, I
need to ask John this, but I need to wait till a sane time.
Dude, you know, I get texts 2 or 3 in the morning. Now, I won't answer them typically because I'm dead asleep, you know. You could set off a nuclear bomb in my room and probably wouldn't wake me up. Maybe. It depends how low pitched it is. If it's low pitch, I won't hear it. If it's high pitched, I hear it. I'm like my dad. My dad, if we could be literally sitting with a hammer and pounding on a board, and that man could sleep through it. The minute one of my sisters cried, dude was up and ready for a fight.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. You know, and I'm kind of the same way. Anything sharp, you know, high pitch, you know, one of the dogs whine or, you know, a yelp or, you know, something like that. Female voice, kid voice. And it's on, baby.
Yeah.
You woke the bear. So,
Yeah, Tyler, he's just out. He's just done. I mean,
yeah, well, he's a young man.
well, yeah.
Yeah, he's
We were-
growing still, man.
I was picking him
Them
up.
cells
you know,
need sleep.
Yeah, I need 18 hours a day, apparently. No, he works pretty hard, but we were going to a game and it was an early game. We wanted to get there early.
Oh
And
my.
I'm sitting there, I'm going to pick him up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there calling, nothing. I called his brother. There's no hope for his brother. His brother does.
He's 10 times worse than me.
His brother is part sloth, but for sure.
So what are you studying in school?
Oh, he's out.
I graduated. I
Oh, really?
yeah.
What's your degree in?
Cinema.
Awesome.
Cameras
So you
and
working?
stuff. I'm not exactly working in the cinema degree right now, but I'm
Yeah.
working in cabling right now.
Oh, really? You're in my field,
Yeah, probably.
right? So voice and data cabling, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. We got.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I've done for the past 32 years.
Well, there you go.
There we
Uncle
go.
John, man.
There we go.
Yeah. I've got an integration firm. We do low voltage cabling. We do access control
voltage.
camera systems.
I'm low voltage.
Yeah. Yeah. So
That was
you want to move to South Carolina?
I don't know. It's a little warmer than Iowa.
Well, we haven't had snow in 3 years.
I see. I'm
That's a
not
turnoff
like
for
I'm
him.
not
He
like
likes
him.
snow.
I'm not like
Yeah.
him. I love snow.
Yeah.
I should have made him shovel more
See, I like
So-
when he
snow.
was a kid.
Yeah. So you
That's cool, man. Yeah. So
you're a
did you start your own
datacom
company
guy,
then?
huh?
Datacom, yes.
Yeah. Cool. Are you dressing racks and all that stuff terminating fiber yet?
I went through a fiber class.
Yeah.
I've seen how I've terminated a couple in the hospital. But it's been a lot of going through the ceilings of the hospital and pulling the.
That's a fun environment.
Oh, it's something. Either running data or coax. We do a lot of CATV.
Yep.
Yeah, right now I'm redoing the entire. The children's hospital is a huge thing here in Iowa, at the Iowa City.
Yep.
We're redoing the entire interactive system inside of each patient room right now.
Oh, cool.
That's what I'm working on, and it's.
We need to do a video just about that shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's there's a lot into it, a lot of programming.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
things.
I've got a couple of I got a one. Well, you know Daniel WD2DW
Yeah.
from York County.
Yep.
Yeah, Daniel works in her group now, and damn, that guy's smart. I mean, geez, oh Pete's man. You know, I'm no dummy, but he makes me feel like one. I mean, he's like a sponge. You feed him stuff, and he just remembers it and it applies it in ways you wouldn't think to apply it. And just, I mean, wow, he's something else. And we hired another guy that he recommended. Another guy. This kid's 22 and just another sponge, man. And just watching those two work, it's like, oh shit, there's two smarter people than me now in my company.
Hey, you're doing the right thing then, right?
Yeah, I'm working myself out of a job. That's what I want to do.
There you go.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to ham radio. Where it should be.
Hey, that's cool. Man. No, the company he works for is CEC out of Cedar Rapids. I don't know if you ever heard of them. Or
Well, I've
not.
got some stuff coming up in Iowa. I may have to reach out to you guys. You can edit all this crap out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 That's what I meant. Andy ain't gonna do it.
Yeah.
He's a Luddite like me.
Yep. I'm trying to bring up the picture of what I was going to talk about.
Yeah, I've been working a lot with the club stuff, man. I tell you what, these Go boxes and remote station are kicking my ass, man. They really are. We've got the Go box. We got a lot of them done. We're still waiting on a few parts for remote station, but
So is that
Well,
something where somebody can just come in and check them out and go, or what's
The Go boxes.
Yeah.
Some of it is for MCOM, and some of it's directed for schools. So we'll
Okay.
lend the boxes out to the schools until they can build their own station, or if they have an event, whatever. So yeah, so we're doing that, and then yeah, we got some dedicated for MCOM stuff, that we built them special for that. The next thing I've got to build is the repeater box for the club. So we've got a Kenwood repeater that we're putting in a Go case. So that's an easy build. I just got to build some mounts for it and strap it all in, and it'll be good.
Are you sure you're asleep at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? Because it sounds like you got enough work to keep you awake 24/7.
Yeah, hey, it gets done when it gets done.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like Da Vinci, man. You can't rush it, man. I'll be sitting there painting assisting Pat Chapel, and the Pope will come up and poke me. Hey, you need to speed that up, dude. I'm working as fast as I can.
Perfection takes time.
That's it. Now I don't know about perfection, but I'm not the fastest in the world. But it's done right when I get done.
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing I was looking at was I actually ordered one, honestly. Universal radio controller from G1LRO over there.
G1LRO. Okay. I have no idea.
Well, I hadn't gotten into APRS too much, nothing like that. But
Yeah.
this is basically a sound card, and it uses the new OHIS standard too that Smitty and Halibut Electronics is doing.
Okay.
So it uses that, and it sets between your radio and your computer. It's like a data connection, but he also has these boards that come with it, these separated boards, and there's one that APRS, and you can make it into a digipeater and things like that. It looks like a fun little kit.
Is this HF or UHF VHF stuff?
Either
or.
VHF. Yeah, I think it's either or.
Okay.
But that's the way I do things. If I see something that I think's cool, I order it and then I learn about it.
Yeah.
It's probably bad, but I mean, it looked pretty.
Can't say I haven't done that.
It's like, oh yeah, because the main reason I got it was for the APRS. I wanted to do that, and it looked like you could turn basically whatever HT that you have into an APRS unit. So.
Oh, that's cool. I hadn't seen this before. That's
those guys over there in England come up with some pretty cool stuff. And
yeah,
so
that's pretty neat. Yeah, there's a guy over there built antennas or something,
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's got a DX. Something.
Yeah, he's kind of weird. Wears a mohawk.
Yeah.
Man, speaking of him, I see he did that raffle for Jim.
He did.
The guy's got the biggest darn heart of anybody I know. I mean, he will give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah.
To help you if he thinks it's going to do good, right? He's that kind. He's just a special guy. I mean, he just really is. I don't know what made him that way, but God, I'm glad he is. Because I tell you what, I treasure the friendship I have with him, and he's done a lot for me personally on the learning side of things and teaching me to help teach other people. I learned a lot of that from him, and some of the generosity that he's shown me, I've paid forward, and he's just they say one person can't make a difference. Yeah, they can. Yeah, they can. And what he's doing for Jim, because I found Jim about the same time I found Callum with amateur radio, and those were really the first two I came across that I really kind of had a connection with. I mean, there were some other folks out there that I kind of just went. And I wasn't a big fan of YouTube back then, and it was kind of like, who are these guys, right? Yeah. What are these guys doing? And then I ran into Jim, and funny story about Jim. And if you don't know who Jim is, it's W6LG, Jim Heath out in California. Yeah. So one afternoon, I'm sitting there, and I'm got in the radio, and I'm calling CQ. Hello, CQ, 20 meters. This is November. Well, back then it was Kilo Echo 4 Papa Lima Tango calling CQ20. Anybody, anywhere. This is Kilo 4 Papa Lima Tango calling CQ 20 meters. Hello, 20. Anybody, anywhere. Would please call. I'm standing by. And I get this Whiskey 6 Lima Golf. right? And I'm like, okay, Whiskey 6 Lima Golf 59 South Carolina. Name here is John, Juliet Oscar Hotel November. Pleasure to meet you. Over. Oh, John, this is Jim over in California. W6LG, you're 5-9 here. And at that point in time, he was on the mountain. I can't remember the name of the Bear Mountain, maybe, in California. And I'm talking to this guy, and I look up at his QRZ page, and I'm going, holy shit, that's Jim from YouTube. And he says, so John, how you doing? He said, I like the way you call CQ. I said, well, you should. I learned it from you because I watched a video like 3 days before that was him teaching you how to call CQ, and it was exactly the same cadence. And so we had a nice little over for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then condition changed, and that was it. But it was just so weird, and that was the first time I experienced, seeing somebody on YouTube and then talking to them directly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the only other time I've experienced that, after that was until lately was Bob Heil one time. He was doing something on YouTube, and 2 or 3 days later, I talked to Bob Heil, on the radio. It's like, holy crap, And then, of course, now it's Callum, and, you could talk to Callum every week now. So,
yeah, I still got to get him yet. I have not.
Well, with that 1,000 watts, man, he's really pushing. He was working JAs today on 15 meters. Well, were you in the chat this morning?
I was not. No, I had to work this morning, but
yeah, him and Tom both work JAs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, and then it seems like when I have a Friday off, and I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm going to try Callum today, and there's nothing. It's like I just can't get hooked up at the right sequence yet.
Yeah, there were like 1,700, 2,000 tickets gone out of the 3,000 Callum was selling, which is way cool.
I did get a few myself. So
did you?
Yeah. Once you posted that, I'm like, well, yeah. And I saw Jim's video too.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking because Jim is such a treasure.
This is this is what I got.
Holy smoke! What have you got there?
Oh, okay.
This is the
Vasas Los.
This is the CMC test rig.
Okay.
Oh, if I can, and I was searching YouTube.
And
I, because I got this from Halibut Electronics.
And
then Jim did a video with the same rig, only he had it propped up, kind of like this. That's where I got the idea for this was from Jim. So, and you test common mode choke currents with it, and that's what it's for. Really cool.
Is that a kit you built?
It is. It's a kit build, and it's got all the connections that you need.
Sweet.
SMA
Send me a
on
link
top.
on that, please.
Yeah, we'll do. It's pretty awesome. But I put it on the acrylic because I got the idea from Jim. So
That's it. You got a CNC machine?
what's that?
You got a CNC machine? Oh.
No. Mike Charlie.
Okay.
Yeah. Common mode current tester.
What'd you cut the acrylic with?
Patience and a razor knife.
It looks really, really clean, man.
Thank you. I mean, it does take patience. I mean, if you score it and score it and score it, and I broke a few.
Like the cookie from Squid Games, if you've seen that.
I have not seen that.
Nah, that's my time. That's my time.
That's yours.
Man.
Yeah.
Yep, right over my head, just like MASH went over his head.
They have a little cookie and little outline of like a star or umbrella, and they use a toothpick to outline it and score it. And if they break it, they die. If they get through and they have the outline, they move on.
Okay. That's about here and jump to light speed. When you testing for your general?
Well, I mean, we're probably gonna do a practice video after this to see where I'm at, but
Gotta catch you on the HF bands, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
I think the goal is to, well, I mean, I could probably test it beforehand, but even to get it at Dayton, that's probably the goal
cool.
right now.
That might bring out a little bit of celebratory times. You get in your general.
Yeah.
We could probably fund some stuff for that.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I passed. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah. continue on to Dayton, and then I'll be at the hotel Thursday night, and Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning or Sunday morning I'll head back towards Columbus to pick up Brenda. So I may stay some on site. I got to work it out with Brenda and see what the scoop is. So, yeah.
Right now, we're looking at getting there Friday morning. We'll do what we did last year. We just drive through the night and then we get into the parking lot when it opens.
Yeah.
And we'll leave here about midnight. Then we'll get there.
Is it that long of a drive for you guys?
Well, we stop a couple times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously it's not the pee or, unless you were in Depends, but
There's
gas.
There's a couple spots where we hit. We gotta get our chicken fried steak here and there. So
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how far it was from you from Dayton.
Oh, we're
I
gonna
mean,
stop,
Indiana's not that wide.
we're
I don't know
gonna,
how deep you are in Iowa.
we're gonna stop at the truck stop.
yeah, we gotta stop at the
Buc-ee's?
No,
You guys don't have Buc-ee's.
we got the world's
have
largest
Buc-ee's,
truck
no.
stop.
Oh, you really?
the Iowa 80.
Where's that at?
Walcott.
Walcott. Now, how close are you to Des Moines?
He's an
are-
hour. I'm 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's see. At this point, let's see. What advice could you have for a new ham before maybe we had a new ham around? Wherever he
Well,
is. On my
all
screen,
right,
he's
so-
over here.
I'll give you the
This way.
two best pieces of advice for a new ham. One is find a mentor, right? Find somebody you trust that's going to take the time and teach you what you need to know. Two, never be afraid to make a mistake, right? Never be afraid to make a mistake. A lot of people are afraid of that microphone because they think they're going to screw up, right? It's not life or death, right? Don't be afraid to make a mistake. And then, as you grow into ham radio, right, you become more advanced, you'll start experimenting. Don't be afraid to just try something. There's plenty of crap I've tried that have been utter failures. And there's been stuff I went, oh shit, that actually worked. Maybe I did learn something, right? Because if you're not failing, you're not learning.
That's
Right?
yeah.
I like that.
Yep. I mean, that's you'll hear that a lot now, right? I think Elon Musk said that at some point in time. I mean, I've heard that before. But yeah, if you're not failing, you're not learning, right? And if you're not learning, you're dying, quite frankly. Shit's passing you by, right? Learning may not be as fast as it used to. I mean, I'm 56 years old, so what I learn now takes me probably twice as long as it took me in my 20s and my 30s, right? But just stick with it, man. But the two big things are don't be afraid to make a mistake, and find yourself a mentor, right? Now you got a good one in your dad, right? And he's good salt, man. He'll teach you some stuff. And I always tell people if they don't have a mentor to find a club, right? A local club. And clubs are a funny thing, right? You get 3 hams in a room and you'll have 2 clubs and somebody who said they never join a ham or join a club, right? Because that's the way hams are. Most hams, some are very opinionated. Some always want their way. Some, they think they're the only ones that know what they're doing. And then you have a group like Andy and the guys at Coffee and Ham Radio, Callum and Rolly, and I mean that they'll listen to anybody, right? As long as you're making sense, they'll listen to you, right? You may have a different idea about something. That's part of the game. So, like I said, if you can find a club that you fit with and mesh with, there's nothing like being in a club community. Really isn't, right? It becomes an extended family. Now, you may not get along with everybody in the club. I mean, I'll be honest, I've been a Ycars member for 8 years now. And there are some folks that are not my cup of tea in that club. Now, I'm respectful. I mean, I don't show my ass or anything like that, but there's people I gravitate to and there's people I don't gravitate to, right? Now, when we get new people in, I don't, I immediately try to gather those people up and see what I can do to help them. And that's everybody in the club's that same way. I mean, Andy, you've experienced that
Oh,
with,
for
you know, when you came in that building, I'm sure you got a welcome like you didn't think you were ever going to get,
Oh, it was
walking in that
fantastic.
building.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you can find a club you can mesh with, it can be your extended family. I mean, you know, Darcy and I are as close as brothers, right? And I would have never met Darcy without ham radio. And I would have never probably met Darcy had I not walked into that clubhouse, right? Same thing with Steve, W3SPC. I would have never known Steve. No, our paths wouldn't have crossed. But hell, I'm glad they did. Hillary, Daniel, Philip, Barnes, you know, all these folks that, you know, Andre, especially Andre. I mean, I'd never crossed paths with Andre, but, you know, there's all these people that I've met and made really, really bonding relationships with. You know, there's tons of people in the club I'm friends with, but there's people I'm bonded to, right? And there's a difference, right? I know at 3 o'clock in the morning, I could pick up the phone and go, Darcy, I'm in trouble. Come give me a hand, right? And he knows he can do the same thing to me. Hillary knows the same thing, right? Those are the people I'm bonded to, right? If I need something, hey, I can pick up the phone anytime, night or day, pick up the radio. They're going to be there for me, and I'm going to be there for them. That's just the way it is. But you'll find that in ham radio if you find a good group, right? There's a lot of groups out there that, you know, the clubs don't get that anymore, right? You just don't see it. You see a lot of infighting and a lot of we don't want to change,
Yeah.
right? As section manager, I see all the different clubs, right, through the state. I interact with a lot of them. Now, I haven't been a section manager but a year, not even a year yet. So I haven't interacted with everybody, but I interacted with a lot of clubs. And there's, you know, one particular club that they don't want you to even publish anything about them without them having to read it first. Right? It's weird. And I got another club that, you know, I said, hey guys, you're a little bit of a drive for me, but, you know, be glad to do a Zoom meeting. You know, if I'm in the area, I'll be glad and I'll try to make an arrangement to be down there. I said, but it's going to require me to stay overnight because it's a drive. And, you know, I'd like to avoid that if I can, but if you really, really want me there in person, I'll do my best. Well, we don't do Zoom, man. We're old school. Okay. All right. You know, and, you know, there's some clubs that are 5 or 6 members that, you know what, they don't give a darn about anybody new joining them. And then there's clubs like, you know, Ycars and Columbia Amateur Radio Club and Trident Amateur Radio Club and The Ridge. Some of the clubs in the western part of the state that I've interacted with that are just they're just welcoming. They know what they need to do and they execute on it, right? That's it, right? And you know, from an ARRL perspective, that's really the way the ARRL should be. It should be a national kind of club thing, right? And it should be, although it's hard to interact across all 50 states, but, you know, the learning center they have, the ability to call into the lab and get technical support, all those kind of things lead, you know, it's almost a club environment, but it's a very, very big club, right? You know, it's a very different environment when you step up into the ARRL. So it's different than a local club politics. There's a lot of fun in it, but there's a lot of what the heck did I get myself into, right? I wouldn't trade my time as section manager, but there's times I've questioned my sanity, right? People will call you with the most inane, stupid things you ever did here. And then you get the stories that, hey, I need some kind of recognition for this guy or this gal because she just did, you know, an amazing thing, right? And that's always fun because, you know, it's easy for me to whip up a certificate of merit and send it off or go hand it to somebody, and they're all just, you know, giddy because they got a certificate of merit. Somebody recognized what they did, right?
Yeah.
You know,
That's huge.
and I'll tell you, the Vic Clark Award winner for 2023, if you have not seen that video of her with the town hall with the 4 of us monkeys from the section managers in Roanoke and the division director and vice director, that young lady is amazing. Mackenzie Dalton, and I don't remember her call sign, so I'll apologize if she ever sees this. But she goes to Old Dominion U. She's pre-med, second year. She's the ARL youth coordinator for Virginia. She's an extra class license. She's a contester. She's a VE. And she does several other things. I can't remember the whole resume. You know, and the Vic Clark Awards and I got it, and I was kind of like, really don't think I'm qualified for this because I've only been a ham op for 7 years, right? Because it's supposed to be recognition of long time service and what you do for amateur radio. But I look at this young lady and I go, holy crap, if this is your first 2 or 3 years in amateur radio and this is what you've done, I can't imagine what her resume is going to look like 10, 15 years down the road.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the things she's accomplished in the short amount of time she's been there, it's mind-boggling. You ask how I sleep, I have no idea how that young lady sleeps and goes. You know, and I'm on the committee that selects the next winner, because once you win the award, you can never win it again. It's a one and done deal. But you go into the committee for the select. So they send all the people who are nominated to you, and you go through and you rate them and rank them. And then all the past Vic Clark winners that are still alive put their notes together, and then it's decided based on ranking. And we get to see the rankings. So, you know, it was just amazing to read all the different people. And it really came down, for me, it came down to 2 people. And one of them I know very well, and he was well deserving. And if she wasn't in the race, I would have probably said, yeah, it's him all day long. But when I looked at her resume, I'm like, you've got to recognize this. There's just no way not to, right? You can't look at that and look at the others, you know, how many people there were, and go, she's heads and, you know, shoulders above everybody else. But that young lady, impressive. I mean, just unbelievably. It's smart. Good God. I wish I had half that brain. You know?
I have to check that out. Is it?
It's on the South Carolina, what is the channel? Hang SCARRL. Yeah, it's ARRL SC section. And it was the Q1 division town hall. There's a couple shorts out there too. Brad's been chopping it up into a couple shorts. So there's 3 or 4 of her out there that are 30-second a minute pieces of her interview. I mean, it's just amazing. That's
Cool.
that Tyler, I'll tell you this about this hobby, is you will meet some of the smartest people on this planet in this hobby. You will meet some of the nicest people on this planet hobby. And they far outweigh the assholes you're going to run into along the way. There are assholes. I kid you not. And they are big old nasty ones. But the good people in this hobby far outweigh those. Right? They do. 100%. And that's a piece of wisdom I got from my uncle, who got me into the hobby. Victor Echo 2 Echo Kilo Hotel, God rest his soul. He told me, he said, man, you'll do great at this stuff. You got to do it. You know, you have to do this. This is something in your future. And I took it to heart and tried it out. And, but he told me, he says, look, he said, you're going to make lifetime friends. He said, you're going to meet great people, smart people, nice people. He says, and you're going to run into some assholes. He said, but the nice, great, smart people that you're going to meet are going to far outweigh that. And the people you have bad interactions with, you won't give a second thought to. So that's a lot of advice for new hams, right?
That is.
Get involved. Get involved.
Get involved.
So you know Ape's real name, do you?
I don't yet.
Oh, you don't? But you have his phone number, I understand.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't know his name yet. I honestly
He told me you have his phone number. He and I were talking about you down in Orlando.
Oh, really?
He thinks a lot of you. He really does. Yeah, he
Oh,
does
that's
think
good.
a lot of you. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
He's like Andy. Andy's good people, man. I like Andy. Yeah, I talk to him on a regular basis. Oh, you guys have a phone conference? Yeah. I said, okay, I get it. So yeah, so
Yeah,
you've got Ape and those guys, and I've got Calvin. So
there you go. Yeah. Yeah, he's good, man. I like Abe.
yeah,
He's
I really
and
do.
someday I'm gonna know his name.
Yeah, I think there's probably a handful that know, by his real name, but I have no idea. But I have up side and I've taken some measurements, and I think I can phase the two. I think I can phase two of them.
Oh, that'd be so cool, man.
Yeah. It's going to take a little time. It's probably going to take me the summer to figure it out, but I think I can at least get two bands by the measurements I took off the first one. I think I can get two bands off of it and off the 25 footer or whatever it is. The one they tell you to build. I think it's 25 foot. Yeah. The other one's 43. I haven't messed with that one yet, but yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you abreast on that one. I'll let you in on the secret before I let anybody else in.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, brother. We'll see you.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Secret
Take
squirrel.
care, guys.
Secret squirrel.
Secret squirrel, man. Squirrel works.
Tyler, great to meet you, brother.
Yep. Nice to meet you too.
See ya. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.